Good evening, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us here for a great hour-long conversation. We've taken a lot of wonderful calls tonight, and we're so thankful you're hanging out with us this evening, where we are talking about hearing loss and solution. Most importantly, the solution side of things.
Right.
Let's go ahead and talk about, let's say that you realize that or think that you need a hearing aid, but as we were talking in the break, you know, just overall, just some more suggestions on that as well.
Sure. So the very best thing that somebody can do, and they may not like me saying this, is try it. It is a federal law that if somebody wants to try hearing aids, that they have a trial period during which time they can return the hearing aids. And so I've had so many conversations with people that go, I'm just not sure, I'm just not sure, I'm just not sure. And I say, look, take them home and wear them for a month. Now, we do that trial period at Advanced Hearing Solutions at my practice. We do that trial period for free. That is, you can take my hearing aids and wear them all over the world. I've had people do that. I get a little worried when they go to Rome or Italy or whatever, or with my hearing aids. But wear them in your world and see those benefits. I feel like myself and my audiologist can very accurately tell somebody, with this degree of hearing loss, this is what I think you should expect. And I think we do a really good job of that. But me saying that versus somebody experiencing that at church, or experiencing that riding in a car with their spouse, or experiencing that at a restaurant, those two things are very different. I can tell them all day long, but experiencing it is something different. So we do that trial at no cost to you, and let those people kind of take and experience. More importantly, let your family experience it. Because I've had people come back and say, you know, I don't know if these things are helping me that much, and their wife is behind them going, oh yes they are. You know, so we want the whole family, we want the people that are important to you to experience it, and then really weigh the cost and benefit. And cost is dollars, but it's also the things we've talked about comfort and how much of a hassle and what am I having to worry with. And again, we try to keep that simple, but you're weighing that cost on one hand versus, okay, how much less frustrated was I in that situation? I didn't get embarrassed because I had to ask somebody to repeat. And to me, that's the ultimate answer to that question of take something, wear it out in the real world, and experience those benefits for yourself. All
right, let's go ahead and get back to the phone lines. I believe we have Raymond on line 1. What's your question for us tonight, Raymond?
Yeah, if a person's got wax in their ear, hard wax in their ear, is it good to put peroxide or baby oil in there to melt that wax where it'll wash out of it, or how do you get that hard wax out of your ear?
Okay, I've answered this question many times, so you didn't stump me on that one. There are a lot of recommended, I'm going to call them kind of home remedies. Peroxide, baby oil, I've heard olive oil. Here's my recommendation. It is good to get it looked at by a professional, whether that's myself or whether that's your primary care physician or seeing an ear, nose, and throat doctor that really kind of specializes in ears and diseases of the ear. Because if it gets, and this doesn't sound terribly appealing, but if it gets really impacted, if you've got a lot of wax, a lot of times those remedies won't work. There's just too much for me to be able to rinse that out. So seeing somebody that can look in your ear, that can explain what's happening and make a recommendation. As far as over-the-counter stuff, there are a number of different over-the-counter remedies you can buy. Remedies is a strong word. Over-the-counter treatments that you can buy at a drugstore or pharmacy that are designed to do exactly what you said, to kind of break it up and soften it. But I really think the first step is kind of getting it looked at. Those over-the-counter remedies won't hurt you. You know, you're just putting some drops in your ears. As long as you don't have any ear disease, that's really not a big problem. But a lot of times they're not effective if there's a lot of wax. They just won't solve the problem initially. What I recommend is getting it professionally removed and then using some of those to kind of keep it from building up.
Great. Thank you so much for the call, Raymond. We appreciate it. And now we have Bob on line 2. Hi, Bob. What's your question?
Yes, ma'am. This is Bob. I'd like to have a question for, I have a question for Dr. Gnewikow.
All right.
Oh, got a little bit of a delay there on your TV. What's your question for us tonight, Bob?
Okay, my question is, I'm 79. I've never noticed any loss of hearing or anything, but but a long time I've been noticing it out here. Are you familiar with cicadas?
Yes, sir.
I hear cicadas all the time.
So
I'm not sure. It's not cicadas. I don't know what it is, but it sounds like bees, you know, or cicadas.
right.
At a long distance off. Then I might do it more than I think, but this maybe sometimes I may be hearing and don't realize it. But I just kind of concerned about that.
Okay, so that's exactly what we were talking about. A few called. I think it was Harvey. We'll test my memory on that.
Yes,
okay,
that's right.
Harvey called and asked about a condition called tinnitus, or it's also called tinnitus, depending on where you read that. And that is what we're talking about when we talk about ringing in the ears, or I've heard it called cicadas or buzzing, and people perceive that differently. As I described to the previous caller, usually that's a sign that there is probably a little bit of a hearing loss. Maybe you've been around some loud noise. That doesn't necessarily mean that you have something terrible going on. That doesn't necessarily mean that you're ready to go out and need some hearing aids, but I do think it's worth getting checked out. So when people ask me, you know, I've got this sound going on and I don't really know, I don't really know what's causing it, I always think it's worth just getting a hearing test, getting your ears looked at and checked out. But that's a very, very common thing that a lot of people experience, especially if part of your life has been around some loud stuff.
All right, great calls. We really appreciate you, joining in on the conversation tonight. We've had a lot of great questions. I've learned a lot. And again, tonight's conversation is just about hearing loss, hearing solutions, and just some of the new technology that can help. I do want to go ahead and share your line with folks if they maybe want to go ahead and give you a call maybe this business week.
Sure.
And look into getting some information, maybe setting up an appointment. The number should be right there on your screen. Yep, there it is. 615-758-7999. Call for an appointment. Free consultation. Can't say that enough. That's great.
That's right.
Wonderful. And you've walked us through kind of the process of what to expect. And yeah, we're going to come back, talk a little bit more here before we end things tonight. And we appreciate, again, all those calls. Keep it right here, News Channel 5 Plus.